Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Oh no, it's Monday?
It is Monday.
Crap. Oh no.
Make it worse, it's October.
Jeez. October.
We are in the final stretch of the year. We are just barely over a month away from Sonic Frontiers.
Wee. Hey.
Oh boy.
The good news is that since we're getting into October, it's going to finally be starting to cool off where I am. It'll merely be in the high 90s, instead of, the 115.
Instead of broiling an egg on the sidewalk, you can have a slow simmering stew.
Something like that. Yeah. So how you doing, sir?
I'm enjoying our lovely, cool fall weather already.
Well, aren't you special?
Yes.
What is it over there? It says it's 57 right now.
Yes, it's cool and rainy for days.
In Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Yes, but your humidity is 60%. Ew, gross. Ugh.
Well, that means it just feels like it's 70 degrees with a nice, gentle breeze.
No, it just feels sweaty and gross. Ugh.
Nah, when it's this cold, you don't feel the humidity. It just feels comfy.
Ugh. I'll stick to 15%, thank you.
Yeah. The autumn weather actually hit like a truck. It was like, it's summer. It's very much summer. It is hot, sticky, nasty summer. Autumn.
That's how it goes here, too.
Just flip a switch. Boom.
Uh-huh.
I don't mind because I live for this weather, but it was a little jarring.
Yeah, I definitely prefer when it's cooler because it's cooler. When it's hot, and it's hot. So no hot, no. But I don't think people listen to the show to get the weather report, Ian.
Sadly, no.
No, they don't. But they do listen to the show to get their questions answered. Maybe. They get some questions answered at least sometimes.
We have a large questionable font moving in from the northeast with a 100% chance of priority Q&A. Over to you, Kyle.
Absolutely, Ian. So much Q&A coming in. It's coming in fast. But watch out. Batten down the hatches. Because here it comes.
Get on with it!
But we're starting with a question from me.
Oh, for pity's sake.
Haha. This should be an interesting one. In an interview with Game Informer a few months before the launch of IDW Sonic, you stated that the franchise's, quote, singular kick-butt female character is Blaze, which is a statement that has rubbed a few people the wrong way. It's been seen as disrespectful to the other action-oriented ladies of the game cast and a way for you to push the comic OCs like Tangle over franchise mainstay characters. Do you think that statement is still accurate, and could there be other ways to focus more on game characters in future stories? I should say female game characters in future stories.
Yeah, that interview was bungled top to bottom. I've said that before. The goal was to promote the new book and the new characters, but I did it in the worst possible way. And no, it was awful. What I was trying to say at the time was that there aren't a lot of female characters that are action-oriented without an asterisk on it. Blaze is undeniably kick butt, but she comes with the baggage of coming from another dimension. To get her incorporated in the narrative, you have to go through hoops just to get her involved in a reasonable way. Rouge, absolutely kick butt. No debate there. But she does come with the baggage of being problematically over-sexualized to certain people. I know some of you are rolling your eyes. I get it. But in other circles, it has been a concern. See how Archie tamed her design down back in the day. And then Amy, this was coming right after or within proximity of Forces where her character was kind of coming out of that period that we've discussed so many times in the past, and she was just starting to get into the present trajectory, so she wasn't as viable as she should have been all along, and as she has become now. So it was primarily to promote the idea that Tangle was just this simple, straightforward, she gets in there and she kicks butt, no strings attached. She's just a fun side character. And that was supposed to be the appealing thing, is that here she is, brand new, easy to understand, easy to access if you only know Sonic is the hedgehog that goes fast. How that was presented was inept on my end. So, yeah, if you thought that entire interview article thing was off note, you're absolutely right. I was not thinking and completely flubbed it.
Here's a question from the cartoonist to start us off for the actual priority Q&A. You two are cultured gentlemen. You don't know me very well as a cartoonist. What's your favorite Muppet Show episode or movie if you haven't seen the show? I miss Jim Henson. Yeah, me too as a cartoonist. I do.
I don't know if I can pick a singular episode of the Muppet Show. Some of it has aged better than others. Some of it is immortal. I miss that kind of fun in general in television.
Not really for kids directly, but it's like it's very much a family. It's a family entertainment. Yeah.
There was stuff for the kids. There was stuff for the parents. It never really crossed the line, but it certainly towed it.
Oh yeah.
It's like Animaniacs, it was, it had a little bit for everybody but geez, such a great show. Great sketches. Original Muppet Show in general is just good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that I love the most about the show is that when they would have the celebrity guest stars, the guest stars just ran with it. There was no wink to the camera. There was no, hey, look at this puppet over here. They were on the show with the Muppets. It just, they existed together.
Yeah.
And more often than not, they were just as goofy as the Muppets. They were having fun. And that blurring of reality is what appeals to me. And that's why the one of the more recent Muppet movies.
I think it was was it just the Muppets?
Maybe that was it, yeah. Where it really did return to form like that. Where they just were with Muppets. And it was unashamedly, unabashedly goofy. I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
That one was fantastic. I really liked that one a lot.
The Muppet movie is goofy, but it has incredible music.
I mean, it's a classic.
I love it. And Muppets Take Manhattan is just a great movie, period. Thank you very much.
It is yes.
Muppet Treasure Island.
Muppet Christmas Carol is one I've seen quite a few times and startlingly good. Probably the best Christmas Carol adaptation.
Yeah. At least in the top 3.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. It's just, it's great. So much great stuff.
I feel like Muppets Tonight almost captured that feeling for a more modern era, at least at the time. But something about it just didn't quite click. It's just too bad.
I never watched it, actually. So I
don't think it went very long.
No, I don't think it did. A short-lived sort of thing. I mean, it's hard to choose. But in terms of the movies, I'd definitely put those up there. In terms of like Christmas Carol and Manhattan and The Muppets from 2011. Just great stuff all around. Here's a question from Wild48. Back when Sonic Forces was being promoted, there was a Sonic Cafe with themed food. One of the dishes was Infinite's apricot pudding, and that got me thinking of a very important question. What else do you two think Infinite's Phantom Ruby tastes like? Do you guys think they would be gelatinous, like his themed pudding, or something harder, like rock candy?
Well, the Phantom Ruby creates realistic virtual constructs, so it's going to taste however you want it to taste. You realize that you're chewing on some tiny, brittle, nasty marble, but it's beaming into your brain that it is a succulent, juicy steak. And you know what I say to that? Ignorance is bliss. Why, yes, I can get you the codes to Zion.
It tastes like weakness.
I'm sorry, did you want more weak sauce? Was that it?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Windstar Osprey has a question. Just a fun thought experiment, but which of the Diamond Cutters are the most likely to be LGBTQIA+, and who would be what?
Claire was kind of sort of hinted to have a thing for Mimic. So she's straight. I would imagine Smithy is as well, but this is headcanon stuff. If you want to think of him any way you want, go for it. The internet seems to have collectively agreed Whisper is at least gay. And Slinger, bi. Why not? Mimic, I don't want to say asexual, just I don't think he cares about other people at all. It's not really a LGBT plus thing. It's just he doesn't have the desire to make interpersonal connections.
Doesn't strike me as the type. Here's one from Wheels 282 Hedgehog. Seeing as IDW My Little Pony Friendship is Magic did a crossover with Transformers, how do you think a Sonic and Transformers crossover would go? Would the Decepticons and the Eggman Empire have a strained alliance? Would Eggman be threatened by Megatron like all others? Or would Eggman try to recreate the use of Energon and the unique synthetic transforming function for his own robots like in the Michael Bay films?
Yeah, careful, Wheels. That's borderline pitching a premise. We had a similar-ish question earlier, and I'd have to do a deep dive on Transformers lore. It depends on which Transformers, but let's be honest, it'd probably be G1. And I'm not super familiar with that. We would need some kind of dogfight between the Tornado and the Seekers. I mean, that's a given.
Mm-hmm.
Eggman might kowtow to Megatron for the excuse of being a helpful mechanic, but he's going to retrofit their technology onto the Badniks. He is.
Obviously. And obviously he's going to pull a Starscream and totally just go switch sides against Megatron when the
he's going to team up with Starscream
when prime opportunity arises.
They'll team up with Starscream.
Well,
they'll both conspire to betray Megatron, but they're going to conspire against each other at the same time.
Yes.
Not sure if the Unicron Death Egg should be saved for the sequel crossover or not.
Oh no! Oh boy, I didn't even think about that. Oh man, okay. You need to call up IDW and strong arm them into doing this before they lose the license, because
Death Unicron or Unicron Egg? Una Egg? Deathcron. And, at least one moment where the Decepticons are descending upon Sonic. It's just one little blue hedgehog. What can he do against so many robots? And Sonic just kind of laughs and proceeds to take them apart.
Yep.
And I think we said in the last time we touched on this topic, there needs to be a variant cover of Optimus Prime chasing down Sonic, SA2 style.
Well, yeah. Of course.
It doesn't have to make sense for the story. We just need it for the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And said you got the Shadow the Hedgehog cover art remade with him holding Megatron. That's what it was.
Right. Yeah. No. Here's a good one. You got to call him Uneggcron.
There we go. Correct answer.
Thank you, chat. Much appreciated. All right, here we go. Here's a question from Verdragon5. How exactly is the restoration structured? Is the group we've seen in the IDW comics all there is to the organization? Or are there branches all over the world themed to their respective regions, like a heroic version of the Egg Army from Archie, each with their own leaders?
I don't want to speculate too much because this is more in Evan's court to firmly establish. And we've been more focused on the smaller character moments. I don't think we've really been focusing on the bigger picture. I don't know. She's lead. Maybe she's got the grander plans. I assume it's a very loosely organized group of volunteers. Given the scope, I'm assuming it's also kind of a global effort, but I don't know how structured it is. maybe that will be explored, but again, I don't want to like steal Evan's thunder. That's her to decide, more or less.
Well, of course they're all volunteers because there's no money, right? You know I'm right. Here's a question from the internet person. So do you think the games are going to start pushing more movie elements like the tone and characterization of the first two movies? I'm kind of worried about that since I feel like they should be separate.
I don't think so.
Doesn't seem like it.
Like Frontiers, I'm tiptoeing along my NDA here, but Frontiers is decidedly nothing like Movie Sonic in terms of tone and themes and characterization. The visual nods that have kind of circulated from the demos are a neat nod, but I don't see it being a full adoption of that. That, and keep in mind, this is the first major tentpole game to come out in a while. The next title will probably be another, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in development after this, assuming that they immediately jump on it. So the movie 3 is already going to be out and done and have been done by the time we get a next major Sonic game.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think at that point, unless the movies keep going after 3, I don't know. But I would imagine that the movies are going to have cemented what they are and be their thing, and the games are going to do their own thing. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not head Sonic guy. I don't know what these decisions are made, but I don't think that's how it would go.
Maybe. I mean, Sonic as a franchise has subsisted for nearly 30 years on references to the past, so, you know,
yeah,
it kind of makes sense that they would reference the movie because, I mean, they reference everything else. Old,
yeah, references are one thing. Tonal adaptation or adoption is something else.
Yes, yes. Here's one from Superior Pizza. Something I enjoy in media is how superhuman characters have accelerated metabolism and need large quantities of calories and nutrients to function. So here's my question. Who eats more within a day or week to maintain themselves, Sonic or Knuckles?
Sonic, because he's always moving. Knuckles is largely stationary.
No, the island moves.
Okay, sure, but he's a... You don't get a workout driving around, Kyle. I know.
Knuckles doesn't just drive around.
No, he just sits. He rides the bus.
I guess that's true. You can't drive the island. This ain't Archie Sonic anymore, buddy.
Then again, maybe he's coming towards the storm front and he just runs up and grabs the top of the Master Emerald and starts spinning it like a steering wheel.
That's my headcanon now. That's it.
He starts slapping the top, and from the great distance across the ocean, you hear a beep, beep.
He just slaps the roof of the floating island, says, "This baby can hold so many Master Emeralds."
Breaker, breaker, for to call. Smokey's on my tail. Gonna have to take this straight into the stratosphere.
Incredible. Wow. I like this. It's my headcanon now. No, yep. Knuckles just drives the island around. I like it. We need a good we need a good old airship. That's what we need in Sonic's world. I mean, you just use it as an excuse to cross over with Skies of Arcadia, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean,
do it. Might as well. Not like Sega's gonna do anything else with that franchise.
You hush your mouth. Hope springs eternal. Vice taught me that.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Sega here, so. Anyway, here's a question from Sonic. I know what I'm about to say is going to sound harsh, but it needs to be said. What were you thinking with that Hydro City or Hydro City joke? Oh, wait, did they mean Hydrocity or Hydro City joke? It's Hydro City. We know that. You put a line like that into the canon without thinking it through. If you did not want people to question why Sonic and Tails knew those names, you should not put that joke in there in the first place. And please give an actual explanation on why they know instead of trying to get people to keep quiet about it. No one pays $5 a month on the Patreon for you to tell them not to think about something. It just makes you look unprofessional and causes your audience to lose faith in you. I hope you take this as constructive criticism and not just as a crazy fanboy ranting mindlessly.
This is me 15 years ago plus.
Yeah.
I am staring in a mirror that goes back in time. Because when I was first starting out, I was in Sonic shoes. I would have seen the Hydro City joke, and I would have been in the exact same position as him. If you're going to do a joke and you're going to do it in the context of the universe, it should make sense for the characters. It can't be meta for meta's sake, because then you're destroying the fourth wall. It's lazy. And you're not wrong. But at the same time, something that I have learned slowly over the years is that sometimes it's okay to be a little silly. Does the Hydro City joke work within the context of the continuity? No, when you really scrutinize it. But does it really matter?
No.
Not so much. Game Apologist got a whole video out of it. We got a slapping track out of Telopes. Twitter had fun for like a solid week arguing about it. I hope they were having fun. If you were actually getting mad about it, don't. It's not worth getting mad over. Everyone shared a laugh pretty much. And then you kind of stop and go, wait a minute. Does that really work? It's like, nerds. I guess not. Is this ever going to come up again? Probably not. Does it anything within the plot hinge on it? Definitely not. Is it a little sloppy? Yeah. Yeah, it is. And that's why I'm saying don't think about it as patronizing. You're right. Don't worry about it is what I mean. It's a joke. It's a harmless joke. And if you thought it was funny, great. If you thought it was lame, sorry. I ain't going to hit it every time. But it's not worth getting frazzled over, which I would have done years ago. I know I would have. I absolutely would have. I would have made my big angry forum post about how this is undercutting the very essence of the book. I get that mentality. I absolutely do.
And then it would have gotten printed in Sonic Grams.
Yeah, probably. and then folks would be pointing it out here on the show going, Ian, what changed? And what changed is I got older. I got a little bit wiser just by a smidgen, and I got way more relaxed.
Yeah.
At least in that regard. I'm wound tighter than a copper coil in other regards, but Sonic is not wrong in any of that, to be perfectly honest. But at the same time, this particular joke isn't a big deal.
Well, you know what they say. Live and learn. Guess sometimes you just gotta open your heart and remember it'll be all right. Here's a question from Tempo. Ian the Flynn, Kyle the Krause, Night the Owl, and Dawn the Rooster. Who gets invited onto whose show and how does it go?
Night runs a regular show, like nightly. I think he'd be inviting us on.
Well, we're every other day, every week at this point, Ian.
But it's not like I almost said it's not our day job, but it almost is at this point. He's a professional radio person. We're just a couple of podcast floozies.
Yeah, I suppose.
And Don doesn't like people. I don't think Don's going to be on anybody's show. He's the janitor. He's like, do your show. Wipe your feet coming in so I don't have to clean up after you, and then get out.
I feel like I relate to Don more on a spiritual level, even though some people have said that they hear my voice as Knights. It's like, all right. I mean, I appreciate that, but I mean, I'm not the McElroy dad. That's not me. McElroy dad he has a much smoother voice than I do.
Don't sell yourself short, Kyle. I'm sure you too could master the radio announcing voice, the radio announcer voice. You're going to fix that later, right? You're going to splice it together so I don't sound like I'm having a stroke mid-sentence?
We're going to take a break right here, and we'll be back with more BumbleKast.
Promise me, Kyle!
We're back, and we have a question from Sonic Padge. Return to the hypothetical world. Okay, it looks like Hiroki Imaishi is making that Sonic anime, and it uses IDW characters. And for some reason, all voice acting is prelay instead of dubbed. I don't know exactly what that means, but...
You mean they do the voice work beforehand instead of trying to match it?
Oh, okay. Now, it's no secret to any of your listeners that you really enjoy playing your character Dr. Starline, even singing as him. If directly offered, would you accept the voice role of Dr. Starline if given the chance? In another scenario, you were given the chance to audition for Starline, but other voice actors may audition as well. Would you still audition? Say someone else got the role. Would you be upset if their interpretation was totally different than yours? I will admit, when I read as Starline to practice my voice acting, I didn't have an accent.
If offered work, you better believe I'm going to take it. Freelance, are you kidding? But it would be fun. It would be fun. Offered an audition? Sure. I would be tickled to qualify to even audition. If experienced and practiced and talented voice actors beat me out, no, I'm not going to be bitter about it. Because, I dabble. I am a hobbyist. I would love to do more voice work, but it's been a long time since I've done anything truly professional. Real voice actors, steady, vocational vocalists, they are definitely going to be miles ahead of me. So let's be realistic here.
Mm-hmm.
And, however they do it is how they would do it. I would be a little off-put if they made him some kind of if the voice was kind of mischaracterized. Like, I can't imagine Starline sounding like this. That's not what Starline sounds like. That's just not part of the character. But he also doesn't have to sound like this. This is my personal interpretation, but it's certainly open to others.
Starline is a very flexible character, especially
Indeed.
these days.
Yeah.
I'll be nice. Scourge Time has a question. What would happen if Scourge and Miles ended up on Planet Wisp? How would Sonic Colors go with both of them in the spotlight? Can Scourge use the Wisps just like Sonic?
I feel like we did something like this recently.
Probably. Something similar, but that's okay.
I would believe that technically Scourge could use the Wisps. I don't think there's any physical limitation. It's just Wisps grant their power willingly outside of Eggman's machines. So it would maybe have to come down to a point of him wanting to just wreck Eggman's stuff. And the Wisps are like, yeah, okay. Or maybe that's how Miles sells it, is that we have a common enemy. Just give him some power. He'll tear things down and you'll be free.
Mm-hmm.
What? Me? Take over while you're distracted? No. We're here to help, clearly.
Obviously. Here's a question from Scurvy Pirate Dog. Blaze is shown to have a huge hatred for pirates. But since we also have good pirates in media, such as the likes of John Silver, Jack Sparrow, and Luffy from One Piece, or Luffy, I'm not 100% sure. How would Blaze deal with pirates like that? The kind that is more about their own freedom to go and do whatever they want, even if it involves stealing and plundering, but aren't exactly evil?
Blaze strikes me as someone who's not going to hesitate. So if she hears the word pirate, she's going to be immediately on guard. She's going to assume this is the bad pirate. And it will take some time for others of the Jack Sparrow persuasion to convince her otherwise, that they are not up to something, which Sparrow actually is half the time. Maybe that's a bad example. That they are not a threat to others.
I think all of these are maybe a bit more anti-hero-ish than actual heroes.
Yeah, Long John Silver, I don't know if I'd call him a good pirate.
No. I mean, Scurvy did put good in quotes, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Versus someone like Barbossa or Blackbeard or Baltor, the Black Pirate from Skies of Arcadia. I think, especially if there was an intermediary, like if Sonic were to go, no, they're fine. Just make sure the rum is supplied. They're cool. She'd give them a chance. But Otherwise, they would have to probably steer clear because she's just not going to take chances. She knows pirates are a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Then again, her best friend is a pirate, so what do we know?
Captain Marine is no pirate. She is a unaffiliated, undecorated, unlicensed mechanic that claims to have a title.
So she's a pirate then.
Privateer. There's a difference. They're spelled differently.
Okay.
And if Marine is working directly for the Soul Empire, yeah, that would make her a privateer. Huh.
I guess so. She doesn't get paid, though, because there's no money in Blaze's world.
How do you know? It's a different planet. Different dimension.
I know SEGA. I know they don't want money in their worlds. They want all the money. They just don't want it. They don't want to have to think about the ramifications of it in their fictional worlds.
In this world, there's no cash or cards. In this world, there's no checking book.
Damn it. Money 06. Here's a question from Samsung Prime. In RG Sonic issue 191, Scourge offers Sonic to be evil with him, and when he sees Sonic's face, he seems rather shocked or confused as he stutters the word I. My question is, was Sonic actually considering this offer? If he was, I personally think it wouldn't make much sense.
No, it was meant to be a bit of a red herring reaction, though. I don't remember now if we got a chance to spell it out or if it was meant to be inferred. It's been so long now. But basically, Sonic was just so flabbergasted at how stupid an offer that was that he was at a loss for words. Like, Scourge is so lost in his own worldview that he honestly thinks he can make that kind of offer to Sonic. And Sonic's just like, how could you? No! You're an idiot! But he never got that far. And I don't know if we ever got to really follow up on it. I don't know. Oh, I'd have to reread the old books.
You don't know me at all, which is weird because we're the same person.
Strange, isn't
it? Yep. We got a question from Peter M. As a story writer of an established IP, I understand that you follow the brand first and have to abide by certain guidelines, however frustrating they may be. But people can usually still recognize an author's work in a licensed piece of media, whether it be style or story preferences. I've noticed that you've had an increased presence in Sonic media, so I wanted to ask, do you sometimes feel like personal preferences or bias may unconsciously leak into a licensed property if the author has enough influence? Certain story types, omissions of some characters or concepts, oversaturation of others, etc.
Oh, sure. Like, nobody is 100% unbiased, especially in creative fields.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure if somebody sat down and did like a thorough, deep analysis on my run, they can find, here's the type of jokes Ian always falls back on. Here's the type of storylines. Here's how he usually constructs story beats. This man is an open book. I'm sure you can piece it together because goodness knows you've got enough material to reference at this point. That being said, I do try to be mindful of it when I am creating something for any license. I'm trying to create something within its structure, but I am going to craft something my way, whereas somebody else is going to bring their own means to a project, and how our worldview is, what we find funny, what we find as our morals, etc., are all going to influence how we create things, whether we are aware of it or not.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of inescapable that there will be some sort of personal bias or preference depending on a writer. But, at the same time, I hope they treat things relatively professionally,
Yeah.
So not like outright say they hate a character and then kill them off just because they hate them or, things like that. Or just treat the character like garbage because they hate them.
And I know a lot of folks are all a tizzy about the mandates, but this is where licensing oversight comes into play.
Right.
Because let's say, for whatever reason, hypothetically, I hated Tails. with a burning passion for whatever reason, and decided, you know what, in this story, he's going to fall off a cliff onto some bullets.
Just onto some bullets. Like, are they just laying on the ground? There's nothing.
It's a tragic accident. Nobody saw what happened. You know what I mean?
And people are going to clip this and take it out of context. Yeah, I know.
That's when licensing steps in and says, no, don't do that. You know, if I'm like, oh, Tails, he's so dumb, he's going to go lick the electrical outlet. Licensing would step in and say, no, he's actually very smart and wouldn't do that. Stop it. So there are, you know, as much as one can say, curse these guidelines, they are there for a reason. And they do kind of help unify the voices of the various creators who contribute to the series over the many, many years.
Well, Tails did lick a wall in Boom.
Well, that's Boom Tails.
Are you saying
that's a different thing?
Boom Tails is very smart, I'll have you know. He is incredibly smart for that universe. Oh, man. Actually, it was Many Tails is licking the walls. That's right. Oh, man, I forgot about that. This wall tastes like dirt. Here's a question from Pedanticat. Let's say when Merlina summoned a warrior to defeat King Arthur, the one she summoned wasn't Sonic, but Sally. How does the story play out with Sally as the hero? While still being against Merlina's ploy, would she be a bit more sympathetic to it, since she could relate to not wanting one kingdom to eventually be destroyed? And when Sally tells this entire adventure to Nicole to explain why she was late for their date, does she believe her?
Plot-wise, I think she would come to the same conclusions Sonic did, but not by the same route. I think you're on the right track that she would sympathize more with Merlina in wanting to preserve a kingdom, because, you know, she lost hers too. But at the same time, she's seen the dark side of that preservation. Like, all the Robians weren't going to age. They weren't going to change. That kingdom was going to be like that forever. But there's no free will. There's no actual life. And she fought darn hard to bring it down. So she would see parallels in that and want the people to be free to live their lives, even if you know that it's fated to be a bad end. If anything, I think Sonic might have gone along with the idea of, well, you can't deny a life without really dwelling on that end goal. Sally might have tried to argue, you know, if you know that's what fate has in store, fight against it. If you know it's coming, strategize, prepare, do what you can against it. As for facing the knights, while I imagine that she would be capable enough with Caliburn, I don't know if she could straight up win on a 1v1 with Shadow, Lancelot. That's a bit much for me to swallow, but she might be able to either outthink him in some way, you know, think around the confrontations with the knights, maybe find a way to talk them down. Gold armor Excalibur Sally would be freaking kick ass though.
Oh yeah.
Fan artists, you know what to do.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time she's been paired up with a talking sword. She has experience.
Which is why Nicole believes her when she comes back. It's like, oh, that again. Interesting.
Yeah. And then promptly forgives her because, you know, they have a nice, healthy relationship. Here's a question from Noni. Hey, does Eggman, and by extension Tinker, program his robots to be able to dream if they're, like, in stasis or something?
Eggman, no. I'm pretty sure he doesn't. Tinker? I'm going to bounce that one to Evan. I don't know if Belle dreams. Does she dream of wooden electric sheep?
Maybe. Fascinating. Miles the Prower has a question. I was wondering if it was possible to do Chaos Control with Anarchy Barrel. Makes it more of an Anarchy Control. And if it's possible, would there be a downside, much like the super form caused by Anarchy Barrel?
It all begins with this. A gym containing the ultimate power. Anarchy Authority!
Yeah, I suppose.
And yeah, it has a drawback. Instead of stopping space-time around you and allowing you to move freely so it looks like you're teleporting, it freezes you. So you're just stuck there as the rest of the world moves on without you.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard. How useless. I guess, unless you wanted to, like, time travel, I guess that would be one way to do it. Pause yourself, and then let the world move on without you, and then unpause when you're ready.
That's the thing, you're paused. You can't unpause yourself.
Well, you would unpause yourself eventually.
Only because the Anarchy Barrel would run out of juice, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chaos Control's got to end at some point, right? So, Anarchy Authority would do that, too. All right, and we got one last question for this episode, and it comes to us from our good buddy, Scruffy Matt. Hello, boys. It's time for another wacky crossover idea. Boy, that never happens on this show. The minions somehow end up on Sonic's world, and naturally they gravitate towards Dr. Eggman. How does Eggman react to this development, and what do Sonic and friends think when they find out? Would Boom Eggman have a different reaction than IDW Eggman to be suddenly presented with this enthusiastic yet bizarre workforce?
Minions. One step above Rabbids. The smallest step above Rabbids.
Discount rip-off Servbots.
Yeah.
Because Servbots beat all of them to the punch.
Oh, yeah. And are funnier, too.
Yes.
So, modern Eggman versus Boom Eggman, night and day. Modern Eggman is going to be discussed at what are these tiny beeping things? Why are they around me? Oh, they're subservient. Okay, time to stuff them into robots. And then you would get various, horrible badnik minions causing trouble. Boom Eggman would go full Gru. He would love the adoration. He would keep them as they are. He would retire early and basically let them run the empire. It would become an excuse plot for Orbot and Qbot to stage a coup because, darn it, they've lost their jobs. They have to take over the Eggman Empire just so they can start working for Eggman again.
Mm-hmm.
Cut away to everybody hanging out at Medburger. Sure is quiet today. Should we check on Eggman? Nah, if he's not causing trouble, don't cause trouble. Back to the castle.
Always. Yep. Here we go. Boom season 4 begins.
Stinger ending gag is that the minions have all been kicked out of Eggman's lair. He's decided to take Orbot and Qbot back. It's back to status quo. And that's when Dave comes in and finds Madburger full of new attendants.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. See, there's possibilities with this. I don't know. This could be entertaining.
Because Boom is an endless well of delight and joy.
Yeah. It's true. I know some people don't like it, but come on. It's probably the best thing the franchise has going for it.
Unfortunately, our show is not a bottomless well. We have bottomed out. But before we go, we have to give a big thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members who make this show possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Torchbound, Mike B., Dave M., Kublin Crew 128, Salute Your Cat, Andrew D., J. Frost, Duas, Diz, Den, Hero of Light 13, Professor Scruffy Matt, Ryan D., Chris A., Sony Noni, John M., Jib, Don B., Yami M., Lee HK, Lisa M., Fiona M., Chevelle, Invade Turbo Tuna, Sonic, Ben Wolfsbane, Keeper of Monsters, Axis, Tick, Scurvy Pirate, Hog, Xander, the Painter, Final Neo, Jonathan Dobbs just really likes Princess Sally. The Name is X, Justin S., Solaire, Stain, Nimric, Godzilla, Alex GS, Arc Fighter, Daddler, The Della, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Ava, Arctic, Pedantic Cat, Dove, Quaggle Gaggle, Professor Rybe, Red, the Supernamic, Nondal, Cameron H, Chad, Les, Jennifer H, Justin Mountain, Soul, Sapphire Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukon, Joshua S, Omega Watt, Finest Cacophony, Preston M, Starlight Sec, Jolene B, Sonic 84, Noah S, Kojiro, Highwind, Dapper Shinks, Supersonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Radry, Chase L, Ty H, Callum Q, Twilord, Red Wolf, Nebius, Cosmic Cooking Hunter 77, and Tails, Rusiful, Maddie H, The Disgayan, KJB, John the Real Waluigi, N, Zephyr, Wild 48, Mox T Ranger, The Marble Gardener, Owen BD, Vlad of the Stars, Chaos Sonic 1, Miles the Prower, Navarre, Exidel, Agent Kaz, Force Sonic Fan, Puppy the Scholar, Rhythm Raccoon, Miggy Sawdust, Pig Dan 20, Ty Cyan, Lewis J, Michael P, Delta God 77, Curly Q's, Ozjam, Shimmy M, Angela V, Fang the Werehog, Caswell, Mr. Murderbird, the Giant Murdering Bird, Stupid Ugly, Triforce Riku, Classic Sonic Nova Polyduo, Chaos Shadow, Timon B, Thievius, Smiley 21, The Flower Garden, Sammy S, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica Phi, Sterling Sonic, They Made a Vow, Their Mother Will Be Found, Jube Conga, Shakira Law, Rocket Man, Windskull, Dolontai, Sky the Desu, Supernova, Endabanda, Superior Pizza, Sonic Patch, Tetsunai, Thigolf, Crabo, Sonic Mania 2099, Hadronis, Nils, FMS Draws, Alex Arts Here, Zay Cartoonist, Verdragon 5, The Internet Person, Scourge Time, Peter M, Buttered Noodles, Miles Prower D, Frost the White Lion, Danny the Light, Ryuko Xian, Metamode, Wheels 282 Hedgehog, and Jamal S.
Thank you all. Wow, that's outstanding. Beautiful. I love it.
That's
Awesome.
going to wrap us up. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you later. Don't sell your shorts.
It's a bear market. Hold on to those shorts.
It's going to be a bear market if you take off the shorts. Like Mario fart. I mean cart.
This is what I come back to.
How's that anything different than usual?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
I had to go to the optometrist, and my eyes are finally to a point where I can kind of read again.
Oh, that's good. Maybe. Might help for writing.
Yeah, the afternoon's been a write off. Ha ha ha. I was not expecting that bicycle horn laugh.
All right.
On today's episode, we discover Ian's Achilles heel. So I just might have.
That's an actual bicycle horn right there. Anyway, sorry.
It's a little fuzzy. I'm probably going to have to get like actual prescription glasses here in the near future.
Yeah. Fun.
I tell you what, after all the drops and the dilation and whatever, though, had to drive out of town to pick up a prescription. And it's like, my eyes feel like they're being pinpricked by tiny, tiny cold raindrops. That was weird. So weird.
No. I hate that. Ugh. No. At least you're home now.
Thankfully, that and traffic was gridlocked. So it's like, I'm not driving at high speeds while I'm impaired. This was a dumb idea.
No.
I can see it's only the close, reading that I'm having trouble with. I can do long distance. It's fine on the highway. What's my speedometer say? It says gray.
Ian, don't drive like that.
No.
Don't do that.
At least it was a bright bright, clear day for my completely dilated pupils.
Just flashing red and blue lights are no help at all. Thank you for that, Dove.
They keep chasing me around. It's the weirdest thing. Now I'm getting these auditory hallucinations. Being chased by a Super Saiyan.
I know. It's so weird.